I'm actually super excited for this fight. It's funny how the flyweight division in the past had a reputation for being boring and people don't want to watch it. And the UFC was going to destroy it, but Henry Cejudo saved it. And then Deiveson Figueiredo continued the excitement of it. So I'm actually super excited for it. And there's been, and again, people like if you watched yesterday, Brandon Royval is super exciting. Love watching that guy fight. And people were saying that Davidson's title shot, some people were saying that it was unwarranted, which I do see the argument there, but, I'm excited to see him fight again. And even though, he cuts a lot of weight, and it's going to be tough to see him make that weight, it'd be fun to see him at 135, but we'll see. I mean, so it's interesting because I think that I'm interested to see what Cejudo can bring to the table because I think he could bring a lot. But the thing is, it's funny because every time Cejudo's been working with fighters, so far they've lost. I mean, Weili Zhang, Paulo Costa. I don't know if I thought of any more, but we'll see. We'll see how John Jones does and Korean Zombie does. But I guess the next test is going to be Deiveson Figueiredo. But I'm actually interested. It's funny, they had the little promo yesterday during the fights. You saw Cejudo walking around with Figueiredo like they're a bunch of gangsters, and they were talking about Figueiredo always loves talking like in hyperboles. He's like, I'm gonna cut off the traitor's head and bring him to Cejudo, talking about how Cejudo used to train with Moreno, and then he quote unquote betrayed him, and now Figueiredo is gonna get his revenge, which is funny because Cejudo and Moreno are both Mexican champions, so kind of interesting. But I guess Moreno's the first Mexican-born champion. Cejudo, I think he was born in America. But yeah. So I actually think a lot of people are going to be, saying Moreno is going to win, which makes sense because he's the younger guy. He's basically getting better and better. Figueiredo, you could say he's getting worse, or he's staying the same, or the fact that he's, he barely can make the weight, especially as he gets older. But I think that the Cejudo will be a new look. And I think it's going to be a very interesting fight. I think it's going to be a hard-fought fight. And I think it's going to be close regardless. I think it might be worth throwing something on Figueiredo just because he's so damn explosive and now I'm training with Cejudo and seeing if that pays off. Now, if Figueiredo loses this, I'm going to start having less and less faith in Cejudo because, especially him being with John Jones. Even though I'm, seeing some interesting stuff regarding John Jones, and I'm actually pretty confident in him, even though, his last few fights at light heavyweight didn't look good. But yeah, going back to this fight, I think that it might, grabbing Figueiredo at plus 155 is actually not that bad of a play. I think the odds should be maybe a little bit closer, but, I'm really looking at this over 3.5 and under 3.5. So over 3.5, I'm seeing minus 125. Under 3.5 is minus 105. And I do see that happening often. So sometimes you'll see, like, in Zhang against Rose Namajunas, when you see, like, an early finish, then all of a sudden the next fight will go to decision. And and when Moreno finished Figueiredo, I think it was in the third round. So, it's in. But I do think that. I think that I think the right play in this case would be taking the under 3.5 at minus 105, because maybe either doing that or Figueiredo. I don't know if I'm comfortable grabbing Moreno at minus 180. Again, I had made money on Moreno before against Figueiredo before. I grabbed them at like a massive dog odds. I don't remember. I think I grabbed them like plus 200, plus 300. I don't remember. No, not plus 300. It's probably too much. But like at least plus 200, I grabbed Moreno him against the Figueiredo fight. So I think I have a pretty good pulse in the fight. And Moreno looks amazing with the hands. His hands just look beautiful. It makes sense. Mexico has a long history of great boxing and great hands. But Figueiredo, I think it might be worth either grabbing him, but I think the safer play might be the under 3.5, grabbing it at minus 105. I like the under 3.5 because of the fact that 3.5 is a long time. Remember, 3.5 is basically you're midway into the fourth round. I think that Moreno's going to be looking to make a stamp on it, and Figueiredo wants to make a stamp on it as for this fight. And I think, of course, they're going to come into great shape. It's possible it goes to decision, but I just feel like that there may be a finish to put a stamp on it. But we'll see. Now I'm starting to second guess myself. I'm thinking, now they're gonna have a hard fought decision. So, but I still think the play would be either Figueiredo plus 155, maybe the under 3.5 minus 105. But I think that there's no point of taking the over 3.5 at -125. You're better off just betting that the fight goes the distance. Because I mean, if it's going to go over the fourth and a half round, at that point, it's probably going to go the full decision. And so yeah, so I think that those are the plays. Might even be like a stay away fight, but I just wanted to give you guys kind of the thoughts. I don't know if I'm personally going to bet on it because I've been kind of going back and forth. I mean, it might even be like a little play where you do a little hedge, where you take you put a little bit under 3.5, and then something on the fight going the full decision, and probably get it at like close to like maybe +100, and then you'll make kind of like the only way you'll get screwed on that is if the fight gets finished between the fourth and a half. So 3.5 is so midway between like the fourth and a half round to the fifth round. So something like that might be an interesting creative play. So maybe something like that. That's what I recommend to you guys. Otherwise maybe stay away. But I am excited to see this fight. I love this fight. I love both guys, Figueiredo and Moreno. Figueiredo's a little funny with the comments he says, but I think he means it. I think he's serious. They call him the God of War, the Prince of War. I think the God of War. So that's a cool nickname. And I like Moreno's nickname, the Assassin Babyface or Babyface Assassin. Yep, that's it. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown and hope you guys make some money. And thank you. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate it.